My name is Cindy Cinema, and I'm from Behind the Badge Foundation. Thank you for joining us for another episode of our Law Enforcement Family Network Flashlight series. Today we're going to hear again from our friend Molly McBroom. Molly's an occupational therapist, and her specialty is on trauma. And the insight that she gives us into how the littlest members of our family react to trauma is helpful for ourselves too. Anything that lets us have more conversations with the people we love is really important during this time. Here's Molly.
There are some reasons why there are confusions between the reactions and the problems. I like to look at ant-sized problems. Ant-sized problems are small problems that a child can take care of by him or herself. For instance, putting on one's shoes if one is in grade school, putting on one's socks, being able to get dressed, etc. If a child drops a spoon or a fork, if that child is an adolescent or a young child in grade school, that child can then solve his or her own problem. It's a one person, I can solve my own problem, I don't need to go get help kind of issue. When you have a bigger problem, which is a bunny-sized problem, that takes 2 to 3 people. If a bunny were to jump into a building, it would take 2 or 3 people to catch that bunny. And that is a problem such as falling on the playground, getting a scuff, needing to go in with a buddy to go see the nurse. 3 people solving the problem that is created by falling down. When you have an ant-sized problem, you have a bunny-sized reaction, then there's a mix-up between the reaction and the problem, and it's confusing. When a child cannot pick up his or her spoon, put socks on, shoes on, when they should developmentally be able to do that, and calls for help and gets a reaction from the adult that is in the area that is not helpful, then there is a mismatch again. When you have an issue where it's a bear-sized reaction is an emergency. They don't happen very often, maybe hopefully never. When the reaction is a bear-sized problem, that's when the authorities are called in. If a bear were coming into a building, you wouldn't go and try to catch the bear. You would contact the authorities and keep yourself away. When you have an ant-sized problem with a bear-sized reaction, it's incredibly confusing to the care provider, to the teacher, whomever is in charge. When you have a bunny-sized problem and a bear-sized reaction, it's also very confusing. Equally as confusing is when you have a bear-sized problem but an ant-sized reaction. That's also very confusing. That's often looked at as shut down, being numb, really not connecting with the reaction and the problem and connecting them equally as correct in size and reaction. Outside the home, you can see ant-size, bunny-size, and bear-size reactions as well. You can also see this mismatch between the reaction and the problem. So if you have an ant-sized problem outside the home, let's say at the park, at the fair, at the grocery store, where a child really wants to be in the cart, wants to go to a particular fun activity at the park, but it's too far away for the parent to feel comfortable, or the child is in the classroom and doesn't have lead in his or her pencil, it's very common then to see stress come into that scenario and cause a bear-sized reaction. The bear-sized reaction is very unpredictable and very hard to manage, particularly as a parent or a teacher. If that child, per se, is at the park and the reaction is huge, then how is that parent going to react to that bear-sized reaction? Is that parent going to pick that child up? Is that parent going to run after that child? Is that parent going to get the attention of other people at the park and then have no ability to explain this reaction when this was the problem? And that's the confusion, and that's very, very difficult to see this mismatch. And then what happens later? We don't go to the park anymore. We don't go to the grocery store anymore. We don't go to school because we're not welcome there, or there's not enough services to help this child. So it's really working on how do we help that child stay in a place of calm and ability then to not become dysregulated and upset begins.
Hi everyone, Tracy here. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see more videos on the Behind the Badge Foundation Law Enforcement Family Network Flashlight Series. You can also learn more about Behind the Badge Foundation on our website, Facebook, and Instagram pages at behindthebadgefoundation.org. Thank you for joining us and finding our together.